All right. Today's video is about trailing your stops and setting the risk management for your trades. Sorry, I was reading out of the thing. So yeah, risk management plus trailing stops, understanding how lot sizing works and everything of that regard, and how to enter and risk manage trades properly. All right. So let's get into it. Again, same thing as always. I hope you guys will watch the last video. I know that I missed a day. That's on me. That's my mistake. I guess I got caught up with something else. So today, market is closed, so there's no live activity that I can show you guys. However, we can go over trailing stops and understanding, where to take profits and risk management too. So I feel like the best way to go about this is first I'm gonna explain what my theory is for trailing stops, which I'm not super like. I don't love trailing stops unless there's a very good reason for it, and it usually comes with risk management. But trailing stops usually comes like in the sense of like this. Look, if you're taking a long, right? You're taking a long right here. Let's say your stops are like below this, and your first take profit gets hit, which is like, let's just say this. I'll extend this. Let's just say is this high right here, right? Your first take profit gets hit. Boom, you take out half of your position, 1/3 of your position, however long, how much more, however much you want. We expect to see. The reason why it's a take profit is because we expect to see rejection of this area and moves to the other direction. But we want to capitalize on more take profits, therefore we can start trailing. What this means is that if we're on an uptrend and then I see a prominent higher low and then a prominent higher high get made, I'm going to trail my stops to this low right here. I'm going to be trailing my stops to this low right here. Why? Because then that moves my trade from a 1 to, like, it basically guarantees me half, I guess, 50% more than it would at break even in the case that we do want to go lower. And at the same time, it matches the market structure that I'm looking for. So if I'm on a bullish trend, I don't want to see it, come lower, because then we're probably going to make a bearish trend, right? And in that case, I'd rather exit before the bearish trend actually forms. So that's why I trail my stops. Now, do I trail it at the first, a down candle after? No, it has to be like a very clear and obvious prominent low that is usually protected by some other type of confluence. And then I just continue doing that until eventually either I hit my final take profit or I get trailed out. And that's like essentially the whole theory. And it's the same thing for shorts. It's not super difficult. And then risk management, it's basically, this is what I do for risk management. I just go on paper trading and I go on trade and I go like limit, right? In this case, let's just say we want to place a trade here. And I do like a hypothetical entry point, and then I just drag my stops, drag my take profits. Okay, I have an idea of how much I'm risking based on my projections, so therefore I know how much to risk per account in this case. So like, it's really easy. I'll explain it more like as I'm going into the trade. So why don't we go to a random 1 minute? Let's just go to a random place. Let's go to a random bar here, and we can go to the very next day. I guess, you know what, as a matter of fact, let's just go back into here. Let's just go into, yeah, that's good enough. Okay, so again, same idea, same analysis. We'll just go, this is a Monday, so price is probably going to be a little bit slower. That's fine though. We'll just like analyze this really quickly. We're trading within a giant 4-hour gap, very clearly. This is probably a 4-hour gap down here. A giant hourly gap, let's just say that. So let's mark this out as our hourly gap fill. So this could be one of our objectives, like I explained in my objectives video. So this would be one of them. So it'll be hourly gap fill. That's one of them. Then we have high of day, which is another objective. And then I guess if you want to, you can do like previous day high if we want to go up. So previous day high. So that's my bullish objectives. Now our bearish objectives clearly are this low of day would be my first one, and then right here this hourly gap fill right here. Why? Because this hourly gap is like very prominent. So hourly gap fill, we'll just do those two because it's like enough. Now perfect, we're going into now the 5 minute. Wait for the open. Boom 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 boom. Open here, so boom boom, and then one more. So okay, well, this is our new high of day, so we have to move this over to here, and then market opens, I believe, on the next candle. Yeah, so we'll just wait and see. All right, boom, perfect. We're making a range up, so let's wait for our classic 945 move. Let's go to the 1 minute here because we're seeing potential reversal to the downside. Okay, we filled the hourly gap. We have this as high of day. If we want to be bullish, I would love to see us disrespect this 1 minute gap. So what am I doing? I want to prepare for that trade if it does show up. So I'm going to go into my projections, into long position. Now, what am I likely to see? I'm probably likely to see something along the lines of this. I'm likely to see, you know, we have a move up, we have a move down, then we have a move down. And then right here, this is kind of where I'm expecting the trade to go. I wouldn't want my stops to be any lower than this, so I can expect price to, you know, my entry to be somewhere around that part. So what do? I go to my trade tool, and then I start trying different lot sizing. I go to the limit order. In this case, like, I guess in this case, limit order is not going to let me, so we'll just have to do a stop limit order here. I don't know if this is going to allow me to do it the way that I usually do, but what I would do is I would put my limit order right here, and I would just click buy. Oh, I guess I could do a stop buy right here. All right, and then it doesn't, I don't know why it doesn't let me drag. Let me try something else. Well, whatever. We'll just have to, basically what I do is like, I just drag my like limit order here, and then like kind of an expectation. I also kind of have memorized by ticks kind of how much I want to risk. So for example, if I'm risking $500 on this, I can tell you right now, it's probably going to be like 5 lots. Most likely. I think that sounds about right. 5 lots. 5 micros, not 5 minis. And then actually it'll be more, because 1 mini 750, it'll be like 7 lots probably, or 8 lots or something like that. But anyways, that's kind of the projection I do, and that's how I risk manage properly. That's how I know, like, you know, because you want to have a proper stop loss here. You don't want to just put a stop loss wherever because of the risk reward or how much you want to risk. You want to plan the trade beforehand and have the number memorized in your head. It's like, okay, I'm going to enter this exact same amount if we have a somewhat of a closure here. My range of like this stop loss would be like, if we close above this, and yeah, I'm going to size down. But if we close like here, then yeah, that's perfect. So let's see what happens. Let's see if we actually do get this trade. Okay, no confirmation yet. Okay, that's pretty good confirmation for me. Now, is this out of our time zone? Yeah, it is not inside of our classic trade time zone. So I probably would not be taking this unless I saw something like completely obvious. But I don't think this is a fantastic trade. We do have a 1 minute fail BPR. Going back to the checklist, we don't have a liquidity sweep. We don't have a fair value gap reaction. We don't have the cleanest structure. We have an inverse fair value gap, or sorry, we have like we have what would be like a 1 minute failed BPR, and then we have an engulfing closure. That's 2. So this is like a B level setup. This isn't a great setup. To be honest, I would want to wait for something more, which usually is presented after 9:45. But for the purpose of the video, let's say we want to risk $1,000, right? Let's say we want to risk 1,000. There'd probably be 1 mini. So let's do that. So we'll buy there, and then as you can see, this is like about $1,000. It's $800, same thing. And then we'll drag our take profits like higher, so you can, so just so I can show you guys the trailing if this actually ends up working out. So let's take a look and see what happens. Okay, perfect. We're seeing clean structure. All right, cool. We made up a decently prominent low. I'm not gonna trail it because it's still within my drawdown, so I'm gonna wait for my for something more obvious to present itself. So here we go. Okay, here's a pretty prominent low. So now if we can close above this, I would probably drag my stops to here, because I don't want it to go any lower. As long as we confirm it. See, we haven't confirmed it yet, so there's no reason for me to do so. Okay, now we have like a little bit more of a confirmation. I'm okay with trailing my stops there, because if we do trade below this, chances are we're going to go higher. I mean, we're going to go lower. So let's see if this is, better. Okay, boom. Now, here's a good question. Is this a prominent low? No, only because it doesn't really, like, there is potential for price to come back down into here and make the prominent low. Also, we haven't even hit our first take profit, and we see a clear continuation to the upside. So there's no reason for me to believe that this is a prominent low. A lot of people would trail here, and I don't think it's wrong, but I don't think it's the right place to trail to, because price could easily just do this and then go to your take profit, which would actually be very tilting. This stop loss down here, it's very much like, how would I call it? Like, this stop loss right here is very protected with all these gaps. So I really don't think we're even going to come close to it. Therefore, now we just wait and see what happens. So look, this is what I'm talking about. See right here, if you trailed your stops there, okay, if you trailed your stops here, you would have missed out on your take profit. So now if this becomes a prominent low, I'll trail there. Boom, becomes a prominent low. Perfect. I'm trailing right here. My trade is now risk-free. Why is it a prominent low? Because if you look not only in the candle chart but in the line chart, this isn't really strong. Like it's we have to zoom out a little bit, right? Uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, right? So that's kind of like what determines what a good stop loss is. Is this a very tedious and long trade? Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, we entered the trade at 9:42, and it's been basically 2 hours, and there's nothing that I shouldn't have done that. There's like we still haven't hit not even our first take profit. So worst case, we get stopped out at break even. Not the end of the world. Perfectly fine. We trailed our stops accordingly. We trade them properly. We didn't trail them with no reason whatsoever. Today just didn't want to deliver. Let's see what would have happened. Looks like we're just chopping them out. And because I trailed properly and I didn't get greedy, I actually saved myself a losing trade. So perfect, just like that. Now let's try to move on to a different example of how to trail your stops and how to risk manage properly. So I'll remove all the drawings actually. And we can go to, again, a random bar on the 1 minute. Is this about close to, what is this, Sunday, Thursday? Okay, so let's try to mark out the open here and we can skip to it. I'll probably have to go to the 5 minute. 9:30, okay, perfect. So we can just go to like the 15 minute and skip all the way there. So boom, just waiting this out because we trade the market open. All right, that's perfect. Oh, I have to go back a couple bars because of the so here's fine. So because of the hourly gap, I don't want to spoil anything. Okay, so let's try to analyze this. We have clear downtrend potential. We have this 1 minute BPR that actually failed. Therefore, we are like super bearish. And this actually, fun enough, this is today. And today, I guess I can go over the trade. I went over in my video, but I'll go over it again for this example because I did make a lot of mistakes today, which is super normal. It's going to happen. But anyways, yeah, we have these lower objectives right here. This previous day low. So let's mark it out as previous day low. And then we can do like this is like a data wick because NFP. Again, this goes back to the news trading thing. Usually when you have news like NFP and like unemployment claims and a bunch of shit together, price does not deliver the best, which I failed to recognize today. So that's why I ended up losing. As you can see, well, whatever. Price opens and we don't really go anywhere for a good amount of time, to be honest. We don't really go anywhere for a good amount of time. I'm thinking, okay, we have 30-minute gap here. So I was thinking bearish just because I thought the objectives were pretty obvious and we were just continuing lower based off overnight price action. But price didn't end up doing that, and there's actually a really good example of how to trail a stop loss properly here. Okay, I cannot believe I took a trade in this. This is really stupid by me, not looking at it like this. But anyways, we all make mistakes. All right, cool. We've seen some bullish moves up, and then we can see that price comes down into here. If I'm bullish, I want to see a higher high, or these 1 minute BPRs get disrespected. So again, I guess the mistake, I need to go like here. Again, I'm projecting immediately. I'm thinking, okay, I probably want to enter somewhere around here. My stops will probably be somewhere around here. So now I know I have 300 ticks down to what would be this as my take profit. Perfect. That's perfectly fine. 300 ticks, let's see. 100 ticks with 1 mini is $500. 200 ticks with 1 mini is $1,000. This will be $1,500. If you want to risk about $750, you could have to buy 5 micros. Perfect. We now have an idea of how much we want to risk. Let's just do 1 mini for the example. Okay, boom. We enter there. It stops below this. Our take profit 1 would be here. Take profit 2 would be all the way up here. So let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, we move. Now, okay, are we trailing here? No, this isn't a prominent low. Makes no sense to trail there. Are we trailing here? No, this is not a prominent low. We're not trailing there. Okay, boom, first take profit hit. Cool. Now trade should be at break even. First take profit got hit. All right, we're trailing. We're basically edging the first take profit. Okay, it looks like we're making some lows here that we want to trail into. Okay, nothing. Boom, here we go. That's perfect. Now we can trail to this low. This is another prominent low. We got lucky with the entry. That's fine. Not a big deal. Now what ends up happening is, okay, we make another prominent low. Looks like we're going to make another prominent low. Perfect. We make another prominent low right here. Very clear prominent low right here because we make a move down. We can trail there. Now we just wait for price, and boom, for final take profit got hit. Again, I wish this was the trade I took today. I didn't take this trade. I took the short. Really just stupid trade. Doesn't matter. You can watch a recap for that. Let's go to another example here. Let's go to like another random bar so we can go to like an actual random place. So here we go. Okay, this is better. Let's go back to the open. Let's go back to here. And again, well, clearly we had news, so we can expect price to not be the best, because when you see a wick like this on 1 minute, you can assume that there's news. Now, same idea, basically, same idea. We're trading bullish. We're disrespecting this hourly right here. Therefore, I'm expecting bullish. I'm expecting price to continue higher. We have very clear objectives at this intermittent high, and then we have these previous day high. So this would be previous day high, and the other one we don't have to mark out. Now, am I going to mark bearish? Of course I'm going to mark bearish. We have low of day, just in case that we do want to jump like crazy. And then we have this very clear hourly intermittent low, so we don't have to mark that one out. Anything else that we can see clearly? Not really, other than us being within this hourly fair value gap, so we can mark that out just to keep it in mind. Now let's go to the 5 minute and start looking for stuff. We have this 5 minute fair value gap, which is really nice. It's a perfect point for us to bounce out of, which is based off the news, which is even better. So let's wait for the open. Boom. Price doesn't open yet, and now we do take out those hourly wicks. So now we just wait. Price opens in 4 candles, so let's wait. Boom, looks like price opens there. Let's go to the 1 minute. We are taking out all the lows in this case. Going to the 1 minute, we just want to see a very clear direction. We have a very clear direction. Perfect. Looks like we're going bullish, right? Looks like now we're getting points of reversal after sweeping all of these lows. Let's wait for confirmation here. I would love to see us do the following. I would love to see us, again, project your trades. Move lower, and then make a clear W formation from there. Whether it's down here or over here, I want to see clear direction. Now let's wait. Okay, is that enough? That's not enough. We're waiting still, we're waiting. Nothing's going on, we're waiting. Okay, it's a giant move down, but it opens up for potential long confirmation or short confirmation. Right here, there's two options that we have. We come up into here, respect this 1 minute BPR, then make moves lower, and if we can get a closure below all of these lows right here, an engulfing closure, it can confirm the move to low of day. Or we could just have price disrespect this 1 minute BPR, forming what would be our W, which you can see right there. So we are prepared. Let's size for the long, which is looking better for now because the short has no indicated stop loss. I would love to see a closure, strong closure. I don't like to see a closure right here. I'd love to see a strong closure somewhere on there. Stops below this, 319 ticks. Take profit would be at these highs, and then we can extend it to other highs after we get there. Perfect. Our trade idea has been made. Looks like we're gonna be disrespecting. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe so. Perfect. Look at the entry. We enter right there. Strong. Look, we have a lot of things combined. We have clean structure. This is clean structure. We have a liquidity sweep from all of these lows. Maybe we have an SMT with this low, but I'm going to disregard that. We have so liquidity sweep, clean structure, 1 minute failed BPR, which is right here. This 1 minute failed BPR. We have an engulfing closure, and then I guess in this case we have pretty clear objectives. So our stops are there, take profits are there at previous day high. No point in putting them anywhere else. Sure, we could extend, take profits to up here, but let's just not do that because it's probably it might hit, might not hit. I don't know. But we'll put our stops there, risking about 1,500 to make 2K. Seems like a pretty good deal to me. So let's wait and see how this trade plays out, and let's see if we can trail and manage the trade properly. Price is choppy. That's fine. Trade didn't work. Not a big deal. We risk managed properly. We prepared the trade properly. It looked like a really solid trade, but it's fine. It didn't work out. Now, is there a potential second trade after we took low of day? Sure, we can still open up for shorts. So let's wait and see if we have something. Cool. This is actually perfect right here. So we have this 1 minute BPR. We have this 1 minute fair value gap, which is likely a 5 minute fair value gap, but I can't really go into the time frames because it's very difficult for me to show properly the price movements. because this is also clearly a 5-minute fair value gap. I'll show it after the trade. Now we have two options here. We either make a move lower, respect this 1-minute BPR, and then continue higher. So something along the lines of this. And ideally close above this one if we want to be long. Or in this case, we just want to disrespect this 1-minute BPR, get a strong closure down here because we have very clear targets down here. All the way down here. So let's prepare our trade. Our first trade would be our more likely trade, because we're in a downtrend, would be the short. So let's prepare for the short. I would love to see a closure somewhere around here with stops probably up here. Perfect. We have our lot sizing. We have our trade perfectly set up. Now for longs, I would love to see us close above this, and I would love to see some type of a stop loss around this line. Perfect. We have this too. Just like that. Super, super obvious, super clean. Now we just wait. Okay, that's fine. Trade idea was not presented. Looks like we just wanted to rip higher. No big deal. It's gonna happen. You know, we're not trading V-shaped reversals like this. Sure, for the inverse value gap traders, this is probably like probably cream their pants. But that's not me. I trade structure. This didn't give me the structure that I liked. It's perfectly fine, bro. I'm not even worried about it. Nothing else we can do now other than wait. You know, we wait. There's nothing here to tell me where we want to go. You know, there's really no trades here. I can't even see anything from here after the fact. And yeah, that's basically how you prepare trades. That's essentially all I do every single morning. And I'm going to show you guys that there was indeed a 5-minute fair value gap. As you can see right there, there was a 5-minute fair value gap. In this case, we did close below it, but still it was there, and we could have actively, you know, been bullish on that. Now, let's go through one more example so I can kind of show you guys what would be good risk man. Oh, this here's perfect like trails. Let's say we enter a long right here. Okay, just for the purpose of this. This is super perfect. Like, this is super obvious in this case. Look, we make a high, we make a lower high, then we make a higher high. Boom, first take profit gets hit. I'm trailing all the way to this low right here. I'm trailing all the way to this low because if we do make moves lower, then we were likely to see, you know, if we do trade below this, we're likely to see moves even lower. So that's why I'm putting my stops right there. That's like the whole reason behind putting my stops right there. So I'm trailing. Now if I see another prominent higher high, boom, I'm trailing to this point now. Perfect. Now my trade is essentially at my first take profit. Then what do? Again, one more time. Boom, another prominent low. We trail here. And we continue trailing until we get stopped out. Okay, we don't get stopped out just yet. I guess we would have gotten stopped out here. If we didn't, you can trail to here. And then you just continue. We trail there. Okay, looks like we might make a prominent low here. And then, well, I guess in this case, in like the new day open, so it's fine. You probably should be out of the trade by then. It doesn't really matter. But that's like essentially the whole purpose of how you risk manage and how you trail stops. So seek for obvious places where you would want to see a short setup if you're long, or obvious places where you would want to see a long setup if you are short. It's literally as simple as that. Now let's go, just because I promised it, one more example. Let's just go to a random bar right here. When is this? Okay, May. Oh, we can't even do this one, seriously. You know, fuck it, whatever. I'll just do the 5-minute. It doesn't really matter. Come. We're in a lower trend. We do have this ginormous 4-hour gap right here that clearly needs to be filled. I mean, this is super obvious here. Very strong draw on both of these. So let's go back to the 5-minute. I'm actively neutral. I want to see an opening range move. So let's skip ahead to the open. Still got a little bit of time left until the open. Open, probably there. Perfect. All right, we open. It's fine. We move up. We make clear directions bullish. Now we want to see a retrace, which we're likely to get probably here. This would be like a retrace point, like here. I don't have the 1 minute, but let's wait for like a 5-minute retrace so I can show you guys on the 5-minute too. All right, cool. What do we have? Perfect. Okay. All right, so here's something that we can learn. We have a 1-minute BPR right here, right? Do I want to take this trade right here? It looks pretty solid, right? I could put my stops below here. We have pretty obvious targets. Okay, not a bad trade. Let's see if it plays out. Okay, our entry has not presented itself. No presenting. Okay, boom. We would take the trade right here. Let's just say we take that trade. Let's just take it right there. Stops right here. Why right here? Because in case we still want to respect this 5-minute gap, we want to see it. There's a high right there, whatever. Let's just do that just to do that. Okay. Let's see what happens. Now, this trade seems to be working out. Perfect. Okay, boom, it worked out. Now, again, on the 1 minute, it would be a very different story because like you'd be able to enter a little bit better. In this case, where are we trailing? Our first trailing is right here. Why? Because it's a prominent low after a high was made. When are we making this? My trailing stops only when we push past this high right here, so right here. Now, again, this makes a move down. When am I making this my trailing stop? When we see a move above this high right here. Just like that. And then you continue doing that over and over. In this case, we just ripped higher and we went straight to take profit, which is awesome. But that's essentially how you would trail it. So as you can see, when it comes to the structure itself, you know, we make our move down, we make our move up, right? We make our move down, we make our move up. We make our move down, we make our move up. In this case, final move up, took profit, we trail, 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 just like that. And there's gonna be days where we're gonna be able to trail for a really, really long time. What I like to do is to always leave one runner. And in the worst case scenario, what you can do is, for example, let's say here, okay? Our take profit was at this high right here, okay? Let's say we took profit half of our position there. Now I kind of want to wait and see if we actually want to continue higher. Is that what we want to do? Okay, look, we're seeing continuations higher. I'm trailing here. Now I want to see us trade above this, like way above. Okay, we don't get it. I get stopped out. It's not a big deal. And then what I wanted to say is, like, if we trade way past our take profit, let's say price had traded like, you know, down into here and then way up here, you can trail your stops to where your take profit is, because worst case scenario, you have your original take profit get hit. And best case scenario, you continue trailing higher and higher and higher, and you increase your risk to reward. That's how you're going to have these like giant compound days where, for example, today, if we had, you know, clearly we had a retrace here. Let's say, I mean, I wish I could access a 1 minute, but we clearly had a retrace here. So we make our move, retrace, whatever. Let's say we enter a trade like around here. My first take profit would be here, and then let's just say my second take profit is like right here, just to explain like the whole point. Look, okay, our first take profit gets hit, perfect, we're trailing, we trail here, we trail here, and then our second take profit gets hit, perfect. Now, I'm seeing price move so strongly in such a bullish direction that I want to continue moving my stops up. Now, when price comes into this high right here, and let's say you don't want to take out yet, you can trail your stops to your final take profit from the original trade, because worst case scenario, you don't get like, you know, you get stopped out at the original risk to reward that you were wanting. So in this case, we were able to trail a little bit more to here, and we were able to capitalize on what would be, I don't know, probably like another like one risk reward. So instead of like a 1 to 2, you could do like a 1 to 2.5 without risking any of your position, without risking, you know, losing that position, because you're just being smart about it. That's all the way that's how you do it. And yeah, it does apply for very specific scenarios, but it's really important to keep in mind, because if you can't learn how to trail and be patient with how your take profits get hit and how to manage your position properly, you might get caught in moves that are going to go like crazy up, edge your take profit, and then come right back down to your stop loss. And then you're going to be break even thinking that it's going to be okay. Like, okay, you're not going to get break even. Then you get break even and price goes right back up to your take profit. And then what happens? It might go down to your stop loss right after, and you would have gotten break even instead of taking full profit and then potentially entering a short trade. It's just that's all it is. Like, it's a mathematics behind it. You have to understand that every single trail has reason, and like it all makes sense at the end of the day. Why would I want to see price trade any lower than this? Because if it does, probably will go in that direction. That's how you know you made a good trailing stop loss, and that's how you know you made a good stop loss too. It's basically it. It's really not that difficult. That's all there is to it, man. That's all there is to it. Now, this is a little bit of a longer video. I feel like I explained it pretty well. I don't think that there's anything else I would do. But, yeah, so Next video is going to be about backtesting, and then the video after that is going to be expectation, plan to money making, and then finally we'll wrap up the entire thing. Again, leave a comment down below if you want me to make another separate video about any topic, literally any topic. I don't care what it is, I can make it. And yeah, follow me on Discord or follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord, DM me, whatever you want. I'm just trying to help you become a better trader. That's basically it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.